But like on the game yesterday, it's just like, in my opinion, it was the first time Arsenal came under a bit of pressure in this top four race. The first time we kind of trumped them and went above them, and they needed to respond yesterday. They literally needed to respond to prove their worth in this top four race. And they like from the first minute, you could just see Palace was so up for it. Vieira wanted it really badly. Arsenal, they literally had no answers to Palace in that first half whatsoever. And I thought 2-0 pretty much flattered Arsenal a bit in that first half as well.
Yeah, I mean, Palace suffocated and they were pressing them very intensely. Arsenal, I don't think, had a shot on target in the first half. They were completely toothless up front. But this is the thing with Arsenal. Like they've been good of late, and they've beaten the likes of Villa 1-0 and Watford 3-2, and they've beaten the likes of Leicester 2-0. But we know their attack, they don't usually blow teams away. We've been saying that for a while. When they usually win by the odd goal. They're not the most ruthless of attacks, and so when on days like yesterday, when it does start to go wrong. They're not looking creative. Can they rely on but they have been very defensively solid throughout the season. But days like yesterday, when it doesn't go right for them defensively, can they rely on that attack to bail them out of trouble? And they couldn't.
No, that's what I said a few days ago. I was talking about, they got rid of Aubameyang, which was their main source of goals. They've got Lacazette, who's more of a link-up striker than an actual striker that scores goals. And you're relying on players like Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard to pull through game on game on game on game on. And if they don't pull through in one particular game, then there's no one else to step up, really. And that's what happened yesterday. Odegaard missed quite an easy chance in the second half to get them back in it. Smith Rowe missed a chance as well. And if they're missing chances, there's literally no one else to put the ball in the back of the net. And that was proved last night. And to lose 3-0 against Palace in such a pivotal game like that has got to send shockwaves into that squad. It's got to put some doubt into their minds, and I think that's exactly what it did last night. I had texts from people in the away end last night, Arsenal at half-time, saying they wanted to leave the game at half-time, which was quite unbelievable, seeing as the form that they've been on, the good feeling that's been going through that fan base for the past couple of months now. Their fans have been singing about how they're going to be getting top four for the last few months as well. So I was just so happy with the way that game panned out. It was like the perfect response, really, with the Arsenal performance last night. But not only the Arsenal performance, I never like to see a player get injured, but with Tierney getting injured and Partey getting injured, that is going to leave massive holes in their squad. You saw last night with Tierney being out, Tavares started. He had to be hauled off at half-time. Absolutely shocking performance. Xhaka had to fill in at left-back for the second half. With Partey and Tierney being out, that leaves them really short. Partey has been central to a lot of things that they've been doing in the last month or two. With him being out, I don't know. If he's out for a long stretch of time, I don't know where they go. I really don't.
I think it's ginormous. I think Tierney is also very big because he's a very big player for them. But Partey, I think, especially in that area, that central area where it is crucial for them to have someone like Partey, who's not only very dominant physically, but has been on the ball very crucial for their progressive play and allowing them to get out the pitch. Who do they have in replace of him? Lokonga, who's nowhere near as good on the ball as Thomas Partey, or El Neni. Is El Neni still there? I don't even know.
He's still there.
He's still there, isn't he? Like, he's not nowhere near the level of Partey. I think Lokonga's a good young player, but he's still very, very young, and he's still growing, and he's nowhere near the level that they need to be a stable team that they have been. I think that double pivot of Partey and Xhaka with Odegaard just in front has been very central to Arsenal's form and being able to play the football they've been able to play, and also be as tight at the back as they have been. Without Partey, it's going to be very difficult now for Arsenal to control games like they have been doing and be as stable as they have been. And not just that, we've said before, Arsenal's squad is very, very thin. And as soon as they start getting, if they do, they've been very lucky with injuries, let's be honest, throughout most of the season. They haven't had many injuries, and now they're starting to get a couple. And we've seen that their squad is very, very thin. Tierney out with Tavares coming in. He had to be hauled off at half-time. Xhaka went at left back, and he's not a natural left back. You don't want him there. You know, if he comes up against any sort of quality on the wing or pace, he's going to get found out.
But what's more worrying for them is that not only is Xhaka not a natural left back, but someone's gonna need to fill in there, and someone's gonna need to fill in midfield as well.
Exactly.
So like the two positions where they really didn't want injuries has come their way.
Yeah, that and probably, you know, Lacazette's only striker, and you know.
Yeah, but you know what? He hasn't scored in 18 hours of football or something crazy like that. So
I think you're right. I think it's two massive. Injuries for them, and you know, Tierney they're saying could be out for the season. If that's true, and if Partey, who knows how long he's going to be out for, but you know, usually when he gets, you know, he pulled up yesterday. Like during the game, and it was one of those moments where he had the ball and he just couldn't play anymore, and he got tackled and he couldn't even track back because he was very similar to at Tottenham when he went off injured. So it'll be interesting to see how long he is out for, and if he is out for a sustained period of time, I think Arsenal are in trouble, man. I think Arsenal are in big trouble. I'm not going to say they're not going to beat like Brighton on the weekend and stuff like that. I'm sure they'll get through that game. But like games like Southampton away now look a lot more tricky when you've got injuries than they do when you're full strength.
And before this game, I was saying that with the way Arsenal are playing, I can see them going to beat Man United, seeing them going to beat Chelsea, and even seeing them maybe not win all 3 games, but I can see them winning those individual games. But now with these injuries, I can't see them beating West Ham. I can't see them beating Chelsea. Maybe they can get a result against Manchester United with the way they're playing. But if they do fail, like I think that a lot of people are expecting them to with these injuries now, they could finish as low as 7th or something like that. They really could, because it's so tight between 4th and 7th. There's only 3 points splitting all those teams.
Yeah, if they've timed this bad run, if they go on a bad route, it's only 1 defeat. But if this is the catalyst to a poor run of form, it could be coming at the worst time for Arsenal, and not just at the worst time, but when they were in the strongest position. You know, 2 games in hand on the rest of the top 4. They had the points advantage as well, but all of a sudden, 1 defeat, and actually top 4 is in our hands now.
Yeah, but it's also in their hands.
It's in their hands, but it's all like if we win that of North London derby, it's in our hands. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're the home team there, and I see us as favourites for that game. Even if both teams are at full strength, I have us as favourites just because we're at home. I think the home advantage has been massive in the North London derby over the past 7-8 years. But I think we can't beat them in the Emirates, and they can't usually beat us at home.
I think
so. That puts us as favourites for me in that game.
It's also very important to not get overconfident in this top 4 race. We need to stay on job, we need to concentrate, and we need to keep these levels that we've got, because like I said, there's just not many points from 4th all the way down to 7th. You got West Ham. I know we've played a few games less than them, but they're only 3 points behind us. You got Manchester United as well, who are only 3 points behind us. You got Arsenal, who are on level points with us. So you've still got other teams in this top 4 race, bar Arsenal. I know right now it doesn't look like Man United really won it. It looks like West Ham might fall off with their European exploits and stuff like that, and it looks like Arsenal are struggling with these injuries. So it looks as like we are in pole position. But like we've said many times, things can change very quickly in football. If we get 1 or 2 injuries, we're going to start looking like we're on the ropes.
Yeah, but who's playing the best at the moment?
We're playing the best.
We're playing the best at the moment. We're the ones. Yeah, but we've timed it. We could be timing this to perfection in terms of the final stretch of the season. This is crunch time now. If you ever want to go on a good run, it's now. And we had a very bad blip in January. In January, February, we lost 4 out of 5 games. We know we had players coming in, players coming out. Bentancur and Kulusevski weren't settled in the team. We had Romero out; he wasn't there. Dyer was injured. We had big injuries. Son as well; he wasn't in the team for a while over that period. And we've come through that now.
Don't forget the first half of the season, Kane scored 1 goal.
Yeah, exactly. So we've come through that period now, and we've come through that stronger. Doherty's now playing as well, really well. The team seems to be together. We're not winning. We're winning well. We're winning by we're scoring a bucket load of goals, the highest goal scorers this year, and. We've got the favourable fixtures. It was all about, everyone says, yes, we've got the favourable fixtures, but Arsenal have the advantage points-wise. Well, they don't have that anymore. We're now level on points with the game in hand, and that game in hand for them is Chelsea. And not only that, their thin squad is starting to get injuries. So all of a sudden, we're after one defeat. I know they lost Liverpool as well fairly recently, but it's okay. 2 defeats in their past, however many, maybe 10 games or so. Like all of a sudden, I think maybe the Tottenham's form deserves a bit more credit. We're winning 6 and 8 games because all of a sudden one defeat. You look at the table, and I can't see how we're not favourites. Looking at it now.
No, I think we are favourites. But
it's mad. One defeat and we're favourites all of a sudden.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy the way things turn and the way things swing in terms of the season. When you look at it, right, Spurs have been in crisis for pretty much all season, pretty much, apart from very recently.
Pretty much before the City game. Well, we went on an unbeaten run when Conte first came in, and then it started to fall apart after that.
Even in that run when Conte first came in, I don't think we were playing great. We were just getting through games and winning games by the odd goal here and there. I think that when you're looking at the form now and the way we're playing now, it's completely night and day to what it was then. We got like a manager bounce when Conte first came in, and then it kind of reverted when we had all those games against Chelsea and we lost quite a few games, and obviously we lost to Wolves and Southampton recently at home, and everyone was like doom and gloom, and this top 4 nowhere near is happening. Nobody believed it at all. And now we've gone on this run where we're actually looking like a proper team for the first time in years. And you're looking at it and being like, yeah, maybe Spurs are favourites for the top 4. But what I'm saying is that Spurs have been in crisis for pretty much the whole season. Everyone, since Arsenal's, 3 losses at the start of the season, then they went on a bit of a bad run after that. Everyone has been banging on about Arsenal. Arsenal are top 4 favourites. Arsenal are on their way back. Arsenal are playing really well at the moment. This Arsenal young side, everyone needs to look at them with Smith Rowe, Saka, and all these players that are coming through, Martinelli. With their best season, this has been their best season, their most promising season in years. And we've been in crisis for pretty much the whole season, and we're on a par with them.
Yeah, and that shows the levels. I think and to be fair, even though we've lost games since Conte's come in, I don't think we've lost as badly as Arsenal have lost yesterday. I can't think of any result. We lost to Chelsea, fair enough. Like that was like 2-0. We lost to Southampton 3-2. We lost to Wolves at home 2-0. But that wasn't as bad as how Arsenal lost yesterday. We lost to Burnley 1-0. But we haven't been annihilated like Arsenal were yesterday.
Yeah,
I can't think of a game like a defeat like that. And so I think that shows maybe the trajectory both teams are going in at the moment. I think Arsenal, as I kept saying, look, they're playing well and they're being consistent, they're winning games. But look, that Villa game, they won by an odd goal where Martinez should be saving that Saka shot, and they won 1-0. When they beat Wolves, it was a last-minute own goal. When they beat Wolves away, it was a scrappy goal from a corner, and they just held out. Like they're getting these scrappy wins over the line, but they're not like blowing teams away. We're actually like, teams can't handle us at the moment. We're completely blowing teams out of the water, and that is gonna stand us.
Done that consistently this season.
No, they haven't, and that's gonna stand us in good stead going to the run-in to give us confidence, because when you're playing against teams like who we beat on, like Newcastle and stuff, if you're not like 2-3 goals ahead, there's always a chance for the opposition to get back in the game. And I think Arsenal yesterday, I know obviously they weren't ahead, but when the game's even, there's always a chance it can go against you. Whereas Spurs, the games aren't very even at the moment. We're just completely dominating. And so Arsenal have been getting the rubber green, and they've been getting over the line in these games, and fair play to them. But maybe now yesterday was evidence that it wasn't sustainable.
And it's that manager of the month curse striking again. Mikel Arteta got manager of the month for the last month. Comes back in after the international break, and they lose 3-0 to Crystal Palace, which could be a very damaging defeat for them. Cast your mind back to when Nuno won it in April, coming back from an international break. We lose 3-0 to Palace.
Yeah,
and that was a very significant, in my opinion, a very significant defeat for Nuno, because that's when things started really going wrong for Spurs and for Nuno.
And you got to remember how we lost 3-0 to Palace on that day, and it was obviously a terrible defeat, but Like, how many things had to go wrong, like, for us to get battered? Like, we had no centre backs. Like, the only centre back we did have, like, Dyer went off after.
Joe Rodon's last start for us.
Yeah, no, he didn't start. Did he start? I think
he came on, didn't he?
Like, Dyer got injured after 10 minutes. Rodon had to come on. We finished the game with Rodon and Ben Davies as centre backs. Tanganga gets sent off after an hour, and even then it was only like 20 minutes to go. We had to Ben Davies gave away a penalty for a handball. So even then it was still 0-0. So it was a very different to yesterday, where Arsenal literally from minute one got battered.
Yeah, and that was Spurs under Nuno.
Yeah,
this is Arsenal under Arteta in the best moment they've been in for years.
Yeah, exactly. So I think at the moment the momentum is with Spurs, and I'd like to know people's opinions. Like when we're talking about who's favourites for top four now, because going into even a week ago, I mean, it was very clear that Arsenal were favourites. That almost with one defeat, it's almost been wiped out. Just looking at the league table.
Yeah. Look, I still think there is still a long way to go. I still think there's going to be more twists and turns. Like I said before, I don't think as a fan base we should be getting overconfident. I still think we should be taking it one game at a time. Just concentrate on the next game. Like we said yesterday, we don't need to worry about what teams are doing around us. That will sort itself out. We just need to concentrate on ourselves, and we need to keep winning, keep this run going, and then we will get into the top four if we do that, and if we keep this run going.
Yeah, I think it's important for the players especially, and I'm sure Conte is going to keep them in check and make sure they don't lose their way. But it's very important for the players to go into every game not thinking like, it doesn't matter what we do because Arsenal will probably slip up or anything, or being overconfident that we're now the favourites, so we can go into this game just taking the win for granted. That's obviously it's very important we don't do that. But as fans, I think it's fun to discuss, what it looks like at the moment, because I think yesterday was actually could potentially, look, we don't know what the future holds, but I think yesterday, just on the face of it, could potentially be a very big turning point in this top four race.
Yeah, I completely agree. But I still don't think you can write off teams like Manchester United and West Ham. I mean, I think
West Ham you can write them off.
Well, they're still only 3 points behind us.
I know, but they got Europa League. I know they beat Everton. They just scraped past Everton. Again, similar to Arsenal, they are scraping by these games. They won't keep up, and they got much difficult fixtures as well. They've got Arsenal at home to play. They've also got Man United to play. They've also got Chelsea to play.
I get that, and I don't personally believe that they're going to get it, but seeing as they're still only 3 points behind us, we still need to keep an eye on them.
Of course you do. And if they obviously got on a miraculous run and they beat United and they beat Chelsea and they beat Arsenal, then fair enough. You've got to hold your hands up and say, I was completely wrong, but I don't believe they will. But I can't see it. And also with 3 points ahead and a game in hand, and they've got that tough fixture list, and they're still in Europa League, I can't see how they get top four this season. I think it's going to be almost impossible. And they've got a very thin squad as well. Like they're still there. Fair look, and it's to their credit, they're still there and thereabouts. And that win on the weekend probably still put them in the conversation, but I can't see them doing it. And then same with United, we're 3 points ahead of them. I don't know what same games played, or was it game?
It's same games played. Yeah,
we're 3 points ahead of them with same games played, but they still have to go play Liverpool at Anfield, I think.
As do we, yeah.
They still have to play Arsenal. They still have to play Chelsea. They still have to play West Ham. They've got very, very difficult games. And on top of that, they're not playing very well at the moment.
And they're not getting results. I mean, they just got points to Leicester.
Exactly. We're the ones at the moment who are looking like you trust them to get a result when they need it.
But that's the key word there is at the moment, because things can change very quickly in football. Like I said, if we get some key injuries now, then we would also start looking out on our legs.
Yeah, but football's all about the moment, and at the moment, with if you would have spoken to me in February or spoken to me when Nuno was, obviously it's different. But right now, this is the moment we are in, and I know football changes very quickly, but at the moment, going to this last stretch of games, going into the run-in, which is the crucial moment now. This is going to decide who gets top four and who doesn't. We are the team going to this run-in right now with the momentum.
Yeah.
And we're the ones playing the best football. We're winning the most games. We're probably looking the best at the back as well. And that is the most important thing right now. And not only that, we have the best fixtures out of everyone. And we're in top four. So, I mean, I'm not saying, all right, we've got top four wrapped up. I'm just saying things are looking very different now.
No, things are looking different, and the momentum has swung in our favour. as of this weekend. Like, this weekend pretty much couldn't have gone any better for us.
Correct. And obviously,
Chelsea losing, Man U dropping points, Arsenal losing. The only thing that didn't come in was West Ham dropping points.
Yeah.
If West Ham dropped points, it would literally be the most perfect weekend. And not only that, but on top of that, we gave Newcastle a complete spanking as well.
And obviously, if we go on Sunday, we lose to Villa, then it's obviously again it'll look very different again.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
we have to make sure we get the job done, and we have to make sure we keep getting the job done on a consistent basis. But all we can say is, the discussion is right now, as of yesterday, Arsenal had that not just damaging result, but damaging injuries. That is the big one, I think. I think a result, when you lose to a team like Palace, you can almost put it to one side. You can say, look, okay, we didn't turn up, or it was a bad result. Palace are a good team. They've beaten Spurs 3-0. They beat City 2-0 at the Etihad. They drew with City at Selhurst Park not so long ago. So I think even better teams than Arsenal can go to Selhurst Park and they can drop points. That's fair enough. And that's not it's not going to be the end of the world. But I think what's going to hit them is the long-term injuries to Tierney and Partey. That is crucial now, because Arsenal, we've always said the whole way through, their squad is thin. Their squad is pretty, arguably fitter than our squad, and our squad is thin. And now they've started to pick up some injuries. We've had to deal with injuries all season. Let's be honest. How many times have we, before recently, we've barely had our full 11 always. We've had long-term injuries to Romero for a while. We had a long-term injury for Dyer for a while. We've obviously Bentancur and Kulusevski only just came into the team, but we've always, for the whole season, we've had big injuries to big players that have set us back. Son had a month off injury in January, didn't he? So we've had big injuries for big players. And now they're all coming back, and now we seem stable. Arsenal are just getting this period now. For the whole season, they haven't had too many injuries. They haven't had too many problems. Everyone's been fit. I know Smith Rowe maybe had a bit of a injury for a bit, but I can't remember too many players. How many of their big players have had, Saka's been fit the whole season, I think, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's had a few niggles throughout the season. But
Partey,
has
Partey been out at all? Xhaka, Gabriel and Ben White, I think they've pretty much been fit the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, there has been a few niggling injuries, but no extended amounts of time out.
Romero missed 3 months.
Yeah.
Dyer missed, how long did he miss? 2 months he missed, didn't he? We had Sanchez and Tanganga for about 2 months at centre-back.
Yeah.
We've had big problems, and now that's all getting sorted. Yeah, Arsenal at the moment.
Been out injured.
He was out for a month.
Skip's been out injured for the last 2-3 months. He was a very central thing to what we were doing earlier on the season. I mean, yeah, we've had big injuries throughout the whole season. Let's be honest. And
big problems, and now we're getting over that, and I think we're seeing it in the table now and in the results. Yeah, Arsenal. I know. Look, as I keep saying, it's only one defeat, and you don't want to read too much into it. But I think that defeat could be a signal of something. I really could, based on how they played and based on the injuries they've got now. And if they've got Tavares from now to the end of the season, they've got no Partey, is even for a few weeks, considering the games they've got coming up in the next few weeks. They've got their hard period. I know they got Brighton on the weekend, but then after that, it's Southampton, Chelsea, United, West Ham.
Sorry, I gotta read this out. It's too funny. From Ahan Bal, he says, "Give me Sim's muscles, Ben's jawline, Brian Daigle's sense of humour, and Cody Mack's beard with Stelios's knowledge, and I'll get married tomorrow."
Big up to you, mate. Love that. Come on.
I've never been complimented on my jawline.
I've never been complimented on my muscles. I don't know what's going on there. Very interesting. It's all kicking off today. But look.
But what I was going to say is, I was speaking to you off camera before, and we were talking about the January transfer window. There was a lot of reservations, a lot of complaints about the transfer window in January. A lot, and I'm talking about a lot. And even by me, I gave it a 5 out of 10 in January. But looking back on it now, you got to say that this transfer window has kind of revitalized us this season. Kulu and Bentancur have come in, hit the ground running. We've got poisonous atmospheres out. Everyone in the squad seems to be pulling in the same direction now. So, in hindsight, would you remark the window?
Yeah, everything's better in hindsight. You got to say, I mean, Bentancur and Kulusevski have come in and done better than anyone could have imagined, really. Yeah. Since obviously the first few games, because they were there when we lost to Wolves and Southampton, weren't they? But ever since then, we've been brilliant. And since they've been stable in the first team and starting games, we've been 10 times the team we were before, and we were playing so much better football. We're so much more solid. I think Conte, we're playing the way Conte wants to play to a much better degree. So you got to say I have to mark it a lot better than originally, because I didn't think Kulusevski and Bentancur would be as immediate impacts as they have been. I thought they would help us and help us from now to the end of the season, but I didn't think there would be stars in the team immediately, nailed on starters straight away, and that's what they've turned out to be as soon as they come in. So you've got and also getting those people who are negative influences in the dressing room and all that stuff, and they're not playing, and getting them out the squad also probably helps with the unity. So from that aspect, of course, I've got to mark it better than the 5 that I did give it in January.
I give it about a 7.5 right now.
Yeah, you've got to, because Kulu and Bentancur are much better than I thought. In terms of impact, I always thought they were good players, but I really didn't think they'd come in. I thought they'll maybe take 6 months to settle, and then next season we'll probably see them, proper starting every game. I thought Kulu was definitely going to be in the rotation with Lucas and Bergman. I thought Bentancur we could get a lot of starts, but still, we're like, obviously Skip's been injured, so whatever. But I thought he would also not hit the ground running like he has done, and they both have. So that has to take it up. That has to take it up to probably at least a 7. Look, we're still a bit short in a few positions, so if we do get injuries, we're still leaving ourselves open. But 100%, we have to acknowledge that it looks better than originally did.
You talk about those Wolves and Southampton games, right? Kulu's first start was against Man City, which was after that.
I mean, he came on in those. I'm saying they're already there. They were there.
Yeah, but he wasn't really integrated yet, was he?
And
Kulu was that Man City.
And Bentancur only came on against Southampton. He didn't start.
He started against Wolves and then came on against Southampton. Yeah.
So they weren't fully integrated. With them both starting, I think our results is 6 wins out of 8 with them both starting.
Yeah.
I think they've started every game, haven't they? Since
they've started every game since Man City, where we lost against Burnley.
Wasn't Bentancur injured for a game?
Yes. Which game was that?
It might have been Borough though.
Bentancur went off against Burnley, and then he missed Leeds. Winks played.
Okay, Winks against. So they've both started that game, but every game. So we've won 5 out of 7 pretty much when they've all started.
Yeah, we've lost against Burnley, Middlesbrough, and Man United. We've won the rest.
Yeah.
Quite convincingly.
Yeah, and we've won the rest exactly with big scorelines. So, and you can't even say, look at the fixtures. Like, we've had easy games like City away, West Ham at home. Like, we've had some really tough games as well where we've come out on top.
Yeah, a Newcastle side that have been looking really good as well, where Chelsea struggled to beat them, and they shouldn't really have been beating them that day.
So, I think at the moment the landscape for top 4 might have been taking a turn. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how the last few games play. Obviously now that's another game off. We've got 8 games left. Arsenal still have 9. That North London derby on the it's now arranged for the 12th of May. That's confirmed now on the Thursday. That's looking like it could be even much, much bigger now.
Well, in terms of the top 4 playoff, that's going to be the game that we're still top 4 now.
I bloody hope so.
Can you imagine?
Imagine we're outside.
That is going to be carnage that day. It's going to be absolute carnage.
If they pick up any more injuries, Arsenal, man, they're in like that right now. They're like their injuries are all like terrible, and they could be very detrimental. But they still like can fill in, like as you say, Lokonga and whatever, and Tavares, who aren't great, who are not the best fillers in, but they've still got the nucleus of a fairly decent team. They've still got, Saka and Odegaard and Smith Rowe and Lacazette, and they still can probably put in some performances. But if they do get a cut of like a 1 or 2 more injuries, their team could all of a sudden be looking really thin.
Yeah, and I think Partey being out is just going to be humongous, especially if Xhaka has to fill in at left back as well. They're just going to turn into Bagel FC again. Absolutely nothing in the middle. Absolutely nothing.